And then I got injured. I broke my jaw like 4 or 5 weeks in. It was very early. And then they sent me back to OVW and to heal. And I was thinking to myself, okay, well, I'll only be back. They said it was going to be like, I think 6 to 8 weeks on the jaw. And then I'm thinking, oh, they'll just fast track me right back. Like I didn't know how it worked. I assumed my spot was there waiting for me. Well, 6 and 8 weeks went, 3 months went, 6 months went, 9 months went. And I started to get panicked. I was like, oh no, like they're not going to bring me back. And then I was kind of lost in the shuffle. So that's when I had to start kind of cooking up some schemes on how to like get noticed again. I didn't realize that it wouldn't be just on a platter, you know? And that's kind of how the Glamazon came about, because I was trying to come up with a moniker, something to get noticed again, and try to change my work style a little bit instead of.
How did that come about? That's a great story of the Glamazon. Tell us a little bit about that.
So again, like I was just kind of floundering, and my first run when I went up, I was not prepared, in the sense that I wasn't emotionally prepared for what the main roster was and how to, just how to handle all that stress. And it's just so big. So that year in OVW was actually like, I think it was maybe the most valuable year of my career. I often think there was some divine intervention in injuring me and getting me back to OVW to spend a year really getting into the nitty gritty. And part of that year was finding myself. I stopped trying to be something I wasn't. I stopped trying to be like a clone of Trish Stratus. That was like kind of like I was trying to be the next Trish, and I'm not. I'll never be Trish. Nobody will ever fill those shoes. So I had to figure out who I was. And in that year, that's what I did. And so I'd heard the word Glamazon on Sex and the City. And I was like, oh man, that sounds like a wrestling name. And I was like, oh, wait, that could be my wrestling name. And so I very crudely had our seamstress just sew Glamazon on the butt of my pants and on my just normal plain looking gear. And then I started wrestling different. I started doing more power moves, and I started, trying to wrestle like Umaga instead of like Trish, and what happened was, because of the landscape of the women at that time, even though I'm not like a 6 foot tall woman, I tried to wrestle like that and create a dynamic in our matches that then, as a heel, I'd give the babyface more of a mountain to climb. And so once I started telling that story in my matches, I found I really hit a groove. And I think that's when I got brought up. Candice Michelle had been our babyface champion. And I think they were just kind of testing the waters on a few different girls with her on the live events who had good chemistry and who would be a good contender for her. And I was one of them. And Candice and I had one loop in Wildwood, New Jersey of live events. William Regal got in there and showed us a few cool things. And we had this match that was like a real competitive title match. And then after that, it was Rocket Strap City. Like after that, Candice and I were working every weekend, and we had our title match, and I became champion. It like all came on very, very fast. But it really stemmed from figuring out how to work as that character.